This is Miles Kristen here, and this is a tape that I found after Jim Goodnow passed away.
Town? What's this?
Yes, that's where I live, Tolingo Ghost Town, Texas.
It's called Tolingo Ghost Town. Is it a ghost town?
Yes, it is. Yeah, one time there's a mine here, and it's been abandoned. It was closed down just before the end of World War II, where they mined cinnabar ore and then smelted it down for mercury. The man for mercury fell off when they invented electronic detonators for the munitions in World War II, and 2,000 miners or so that lived here abandoned, and the mine shut down. And then recently, a group of us have come into the area, and we live here in Ghost Town. There's about 25 residents here in Ghost Town.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, we've got mine shafts and tunnels, and some of the adjacent mines. I've got friends here that grew up some prickly pear wine and whatnot from the cactus, and we put it down in the mine shafts and tunnels because it's constant 70 degrees. So
oh, I bet.
it worked well.
Yeah, it's got to be perfect. Now, when you all got there, had it been abandoned for a period of time?
Well, I'm kind of a new kid on the block here. My home's actually Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I was going from Florida to L.A. about a year and a half ago, and I stopped in Austin. Friends told me about a couple of people I met at a folk festival here, Kerrville, that lived in Terlingwood. I said, like you did, what? They used Terlingwood's on the way to L.A. Why don't you stop down and see them? So January a year ago, on my way to L.A., I stopped down here. I was going to stay a day or two and never left.
Oh, that is just so cool. So now, when you say ghost town, obviously because it's abandoned, or at least it was for a period of time. But have you ever had any ghost experiences there?
I haven't, and I've inquired about it. About maybe a quarter mile from my home here, there is a graveyard, and it's a very spectacular graveyard. I mean, with the old Spanish graves, because nearly all the miners that worked here came from Mexico. We're right on the Mexican border. And there's some very interesting graves and all. As far as ghost sightings, no one here has told me of any of those, but they have told me about UFO sightings and whatnot.
No, that's just way cool. Any way you look at it. So,
no, it is. It really is.
And are you guys building like a tourism business out of that?
Well, we all depend upon tourism here. I actually am working now as a store clerk at a company called the Tolingo Trading Company. It was originally the original mining store and offices. The building was built in 1908, and it was shut down for a long period of time until a man by the name of Rex Ivy bought up the land here. He just recently passed away a couple of months ago at the age of 93, and his son Bill now runs it. We have quite an extensive shop there with a lot of different articles.
That's cool.
Yeah,
do you guys ride horses around and stuff?
Sure, there's wranglers around here, and they do trail rides, and of course, then we have outfitters, Far Flung Adventures. They do the river rides going down to Rio Grande on the raft and on the canoes and things like that, and they have junkets that go into Mexico and whatnot. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to help bring in a few more tourists, I hope. Was that why you were calling?
No, not at all. I was tweaked by your conversation and the interesting show you had with Joey about the movies and all, and the one you're talking about with, say, the misfortunate events that happened. I couldn't help but remember Rebel Without a Cause.
Oh, and the accusation that's been linked to that one, that all stars?
You know, you mentioned about the unfortunate deaths of those that were planning to perhaps be in this film that you and Joey were talking about.
Right.
And, of course, with Rebel Without a Cause, it's kind of the reverse. It's the post-production reaction. But, of course, James Dean and Natalie Wood.
Sal
Mineo, they all met unfortunate deaths. And it just, flashed through my mind when you're all talking about that. And I thought I'd run it by you all because certainly they were fine actors and actors.
Yeah. I've heard of that. And there are a couple other films like that. And they defy the odds. Where all of the actors, one of the westerns that they made, and the name escapes me for the moment, where all of the actors died of cancer. I mean, it just defies any type of actuarial prediction of what could happen. I mean, just an anomaly. But yeah, you're right. Rebel Without a Cause is one where after they made it, it seemed like everybody was doomed. Although Natalie Wood, of course, survived for quite some time afterward. But
yeah.
But very good. Interesting point. Thanks so much. Glad you jumped in. Good. And let me remind people again about Tolingo Ghost Town. Stop in the gift shop there and say hi to Jim. Let's go west of the Rockies where Al is in Seattle. Stop in the gift shop there and say hi to Jim. Let's go west of the Rockies where Al is in Seattle. Al, can we fit you in before the break, or do you want to hold over afterwards?
The preceding conversation was broadcast coast to coast over the radio show Art Bell Coast to Coast AM, carried by 500 stations, projected listening audience of over 20 million, also carried live via the internet globally around the world. Guest host Ian Pontiff was the gentleman that I was fortunate enough to be speaking with. This broadcast was broadcast on September the 2nd, year 2001.